Mike's first word on Facebook Live. Fuck you. I'm going to be against it. Good morning. This is Walter and Roll with the 100 Millionaires Podcast. And I'm here with my amazing co-host, Mike Schein. Mike, bring us in.
Passive income from passive income. It's great to be here, Walter.
Hell yeah. We were just talking on the other side, behind the scenes. We were talking about the controversy and some of the questions I had for you and some of the questions you had for me.
Yeah.
One question that neither of us want to admit to, but what did you think about EXP the other day? Came up a little bit.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So I don't own any EXP right now because I simplified my portfolio, and
I did the same.
How annoying is that?
I did the same.
So we got to talk about that potential loss, but we'll slide into another issue, which is
I have a better explanation than you about EXP, which is that I didn't go in as much as you did. You had 4 times as much EXP as I did.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there saying, well, Walter said it's probably going to go up to like 80, like Zillow and Redfin, similar sort of concept.
100%.
And I said, you know, I can either sell Tesla, which like gives me a stomachache to even think of it. But anyway, or I can sell one of these stocks that I only had a small amount of shares. So that was my decision. Of course, the very next day it went up 10 points more.
Isn't that interesting? And
yeah.
So my decision was similar. I looked at it and I said, okay, we're at $42 a share. I think the max out here is 80. I think it's going to be probably a year, 2 years from now, it'll get to 80. And do I want to wait for that long, or is there something else I'd like to do with my cash in the meantime? And because most of my cash is still sitting in real estate, I looked at it and I said, I'd rather be holding cash in this account. I'd rather be holding cash.
Smart.
And it was interesting because I pulled out about 30,000 between Tesla and EXP, and I was over leveraged, right? So I had a margin call. And so after that margin call, I said, you know what, let's clean up house. Let's get back to the fundamentals and do things right. And so I pulled out a bunch of EXP. I pulled out a bunch of Tesla, and I ended up going into a cash position, and I utilized that cash to clean up some of my debt. So it was interesting. I had 22% interest credit cards that were crushing me. At the beginning of the year, I started with 150,000 of those, and I'm down to about 25,000, which next flip will crush it. But it was just, you know, I was going against a lot of the principles this past year, just saying, man, like I'd rather be in on this investment, which I'm glad I did. You know, during that drop in incline, that was just an extra 30 grand that I wouldn't have had, right? If I'd kept it in cash like I'd been holding, instead of paying off credit cards, or if I'd paid off the credit cards, that bonus wouldn't have been there. So there was a moment of saying, man, I can't pull cash from anywhere else. Instead of paying cards, I'm gonna use this to increase income, and I'll put it back into my debt pay down strategy that I was utilizing.
Yeah, I'm similar. I did not get a margin call, but I was overzealous and over leveraged, because what was happening is if you watch the guys on YouTube talking about Tesla, you're like, one of them even said, I'm selling body parts at this point to buy more Tesla. And so you get into all that excitement. But the problem is that you have to have your own sense of responsibility about how much. I mean, you can't margin yourself completely out, because then if the market goes down, you get a margin.
Now you get a margin.
So I was buying. So then the decision was, okay, let's deleverage a little bit so that I can sleep well at night and feel good.
100%.
But the decision was weighed. Do I sell Tesla, or do I sell EXP and a few others? And I went with keeping the Tesla, because I got to put my money where my mouth is. I've said on this podcast numerous times that I have a 10-year time horizon on Tesla, and I am absolutely, no doubt, convinced that in 10 years, it'll be the #1 company in the world.
I love that. And so Warren Buffett, I was watching him last night from an article, a YouTube video, an hour-long YouTube video interview he did a year ago, right before COVID. So this was a phenomenal video where he just kind of reviewed his whole strategy. And obviously every year he gets older, he gets a little smarter. And so the advice he gives is a little bit
Not
better.
usually the way it happens.
Well, not for all of us,
Certain.
but he seems to be improving still.
Yeah, right.
Against all odds, right? Against
Yeah,
human
right.
nature. So what he was saying was, because they asked him, well, you hold Apple, and in fact, Apple is your biggest company. It's the biggest thing you hold.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's not how it started, right? I bought a reasonable amount of Apple, and and he's like, well, they haven't created any new devices or any products. Does that bother you? And he's like, I look at it as a farm, right? I bought a farm. The farm produces. I'm not expecting it to have a bumper year every year, right? Like some year will be high, some year will be low. And then he talks about how this, Apple asset is just like having a farm. He's like, look, it's there. I can't go over there every day and try to see, okay, have they created a new product yet? I don't know if I feel comfortable about the stock anymore.
Right?
Or it's like going down to the farm and be like, I don't know. I don't see any corn yet. Maybe I should sell, right? Or the corn hasn't, maybe if I show up more times, the corn's going to grow 5 inches faster. Like how many times you show up and look at it doesn't affect its production.
Well, my father is a huge fan of Warren Buffett. I think I mentioned we went to the annual meeting at least twice to go see him. It's like seeing a rock star, big indoor arena, and they talk all day. But he
no mask.
The same thing to me. I was talking to him about this, about deleveraging, and I'm like, well, I want to sell something. He's like, why are you selling anything? Because that's just, he's got stocks that he's held for 20, 30, even 40 years that just, they throw off a dividend or they keep going up in value, and then he never sells them. So it's a very, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I said, well, what happens when the market drops and you're tight on margin? He's like, what did he say? I think he said you don't sleep.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
But he certainly doesn't. I mean, he might look at the market every day, on CNBC, but he doesn't look at his actual individual stocks daily. He says he looks every 6 months and gets rid of the bad ones and moves on. So
balance every 6 months. I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
In the margin piece, I agree. I was over leveraged.
Yeah,
so
me too.
margin.
That's what I was saying. Me too. Yeah.
Margin to a point is, I think it's safe. I went over, and I mean, you're over when they got right?
That was our discussion before the thing, is that these phones and Robinhood and Schwab, they make
got an idea.
They make it so easy that you're like watching something, you just buy something.
I think I'm smarter than everybody else. Let me do this right now. Let me go on this one.
Oh God.
Well, the phone, right? You're talking about the phone. And your wife was like, I just got to take it away from you.
She did not say she was. She might be listening. That's not who she is at all.
Brenda is
just said it's too
most
easy.
Supportive, and
she's in the room again. She's right behind the screen. No, she just says that with the phone, it's too easy to buy stocks, like as if you're texting a friend. That's the.
And Ron Bowling has been saying this probably for the last month, that Robinhood is the biggest drain on wealth.
Wow.
So he's looking at it saying, man, like it's just, there's people jumping into this, not knowing what they're doing.
Right.
And like getting one win and saying, oh my God, bet the house. Right.
Yeah, well, that's the greatest example of that right now is Nikola Motors.
Yeah.
Which had all this hype, never developed anything, drew a couple of pictures and said, we've got this truck coming out. All the Robinhood investors jumped in. It went all the way up to $90, and everybody's like, I'm a genius and all this stuff. And then you realize that it was a fraud and there's nothing going on. And then they had to get rid of Trevor Milton. And now GM's sort of backing out of the deal. And it's down to like 23. And supposedly, just my opinion, this is not stock advice.
Or forecasting.
They're pumping it until December because a lot of the insiders, I think it's like December 3rd or 4th, is when they unlock their positions and they can sell. So it's like pump and dump. It's horrible because you've got these Robinhood investors who I don't understand. If you read anything, you would never buy the stock at this point. But it still goes up.
Couldn't buy it. Yeah, I
Still
couldn't
goes
buy it.
up. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a fraud. This is heading for bankruptcy. And
Yep.
on December 3rd or 4th, you watch those people unlock and sell their stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What needs to happen is Elon Musk needs to acquire Nikola and become Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, right.
Full transformation.
We don't need no stinking Nikola.
No, that stock from the beginning, I wasn't interested. I saw it as just basically riding the coattails of using a powerful brand.
Yeah.
And Nikola Tesla being an underdog, being the person that everybody of this society really looks up to when it comes to invention.
Yeah. I need to learn more about Nikola Tesla.
So he's fascinating. But if you think of Alexander Graham Bell, who created the light bulb? Edison. So Thomas Edison was the actual genius, was the actual successful person, right? Made millions, made billions. Now Nikola Tesla worked for him and was a genius. And all the stories state that he was smarter than Edison, right? And that's how it's all presented, is that he was really the genius. He was really the man behind it all. And unfortunately, history has a way of hiding facts and putting things into a shroud of mystery. And so Nikola Tesla kind of lives in infamy as this person who is extremely intelligent, unfairly beaten by the system of capitalism. And
I'm not looking away from you. I'm just looking at my other screen because I know my dad mentioned a book. And I just looked it up. It's called Empires of Light, Edison, Tesla, Westinghouse.
Nice.
The gripping history of electricity, the mysterious fluid, and how the fateful collision of Edison, Tesla, and Westinghouse left the world utterly transformed.
Very cool.
I might have to get that book because I know my dad mentioned, he said there was a battle between Tesla and Westinghouse. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've got to order that now.
Right
now.
I love that. That's better than buying a stock.
I said that to Dorina last night. I said, we were talking about our budget and finances and like where to cut because we're in that phase in life where we simplify. And so every once a year, it's go back, look at everything.
I got to tell you, you're so blessed because I've always been one of those people, I don't have regrets about what I've done because it brings you to where you are, and who you are. But boy, we bought a lot of crap for like 10 years. We were like your typical consumer with like the big house and all the toys, and every Christmas we had to have like lots of presents that the kids would play with for like 30 seconds. So if I could do it again, it would be not buy all this. Don't be a consumer, be an investor, and not buy all this crap. So I guess we may be quick trigger on like buying stocks, but that's better than buying some piece of crap toy that the kids are more interested in the box.
Mic drop.
Boom. Yeah. We are on like a 10-year project of decluttering. I cannot
10
tell
years.
you.
Oh, geez.
It just keeps going and going, and then
yeah.
There's like the whole basement, and Brenda's doing this amazing job, but obviously with 5 kids and all sorts of stuff. Like right now, Brenda's taking care of Hannah's lizards while Hannah's out at the national parks.
Yep.
So it's like stops, but there's so much crap in our house, and Brenda doesn't like to donate it without, like if it's a game, having all the pieces, that type of stuff.
And with 5 kids, that's not easy.
The idea, this is such a cool idea, is we're going to clear this house out because it's like a 4-bedroom, and then we're going to rent it out.
Boom. See you in Florida, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to get an RV and drive around in an RV.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's quality of life, right?
Yeah.
Like that's figuring out what you really want in life.
Right, but all this crap, it's just, and then you get credit card bills every month, and it's like, what is this? I mean, we always paid ours off. We never carried a balance, but it's a lot of money that could have gone to deposits on a house.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another house.
You and Dorina getting
your... Mike, I saw that. You just totally jumped in there. This is about me now. I'm the eye.
Right. I'll be the eye.
Trump for president.
Yeah.
No politics.
My ear is disappearing, so I'm going back to no background. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Those diplomas.
So, wow, you know, we need to get some of those for the mentorship program. Anybody who gets to be a millionaire should get a plaque.
So tell me about you and Dorina.
Yeah, we were talking, and it was a conversation about cutting back and like not spending. And she's like, well, I really like Prosecco. And I was like, well, have Prosecco. And she's like, well, it costs $15 or whatever. And I was like, well, I mean, it's quality of life, right? She's like, kind of want it every night. And I was like, well, kind of put it in the budget. You'll be fine.
I don't know.
No. This is like kind of, I was like, just put it in the budget. You'll be fine. I was like, I probably smoke $400 worth of cigars a month.
Yeah.
You know, that's just in my budget.
A book that we've been really excited about, Set for Life, said something that was very different for me. That was kind of an eye-opener in that book, where he said, enjoy your lattes, you know, because you got like the Dave Ramseys and all those people out there that say, you're spending $4 on a latte every day and that equals this amount. But when Scott Trench does a chart and he looks at your housing and your transportation versus those lattes, that's like lattes and that kind of stuff. Prosecco, cigars, that's like 5%. So go for it on the 5%. Just reduce your transportation, reduce your housing costs.
And that's really what it comes down to, right? Like that's where I came from and grabbed it, because a latte is saving you $600 a year, right? Really, if you add it all up, it's like, no, take the freaking latte. If it means that much to you, get the latte, move closer to your job, or get a job that doesn't require you to drive at all. Or, you know, like there's so many options. And
like yours right now, you don't go anywhere, right?
Don't go anywhere at all. I don't have to.
Do you go down to East Main Street at all? I saw you guys in there one day.
Okay, we were there this week, but we also went to
I miss it. I miss it.
I know, I do. I miss getting everybody together. We talked about it while we were there. We're like, so should we, set up the chairs again and start doing events here? And the answer was a resounding no. It just doesn't make sense.
I miss it, but only for about a second.
For about a minute, and then I'm over it.
Yeah.
And we just realized that we will probably never go back to doing things the way we did. We'll probably do live events here and there.
Yeah.
But it won't be like it was before. Like, there's no reason to have people come to Fall River. I'd rather everybody go to Miami. Right. Everybody go to Vegas.
I'd love to do that thing with a 3-day with all the coaches in the mentor program, where they do like a 3-day event. I don't know how you do the social distancing, but
the goal is not to, right? The goal is to get to a point where we don't need to social distance. This could be 6 months out. We set the Vegas conference up for 2021, so it could. The goal is February, but that's not looking accurate. So,
oh no, you froze. Is it me or is it you? There he goes. Whoa. It's just me. Do you want me to sing? I guess I could sing something. All right, well, while Guelph is doing this, what we'll do is we'll do a little thing. Again, that book was Empires of Light, Edison, Tesla, and Westinghouse. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to get it and read it. I need a break from all the books that don't have plots. Although Brenda just read a book that I ordered called Life and Air, Lifeonaire. It's kind of like Millionaire, but it's got a plot to it. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's about a guy who's working like 80 hours a week, and he doesn't he doesn't have time to spend with his kids. And so it's kind of, do you want to be a multi-millionaire and have no life, or do you want to be still have money, but not, still have money and, but have a life? I did like a review. I did a book review while you were gone.
Oh, Mike, you are freaking awesome.
Well, because it said live on Facebook, and I realized, oh shit, it's on there.
I've got to somehow entertain.
I just
the show must go on.
Life and Air. Well, at first I was going to sing. I was like, I guess I could sing, but I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah.
What was the book you reviewed?
Life and Air.
Life and Air. Oh, nice. Your wife, did she read it?
Brenda read it. I haven't read it yet, but it. She was saying it's different from where we are in life because the guy is working like 80 hours a week, and he doesn't have time to spend with his kids.
Yeah.
And so, what Brenda's told me so far, I haven't read it yet, was that he said, get rid of all this debt. Like, it's great if you're building to have all this real estate, but even that kind of debt. And I kind of mentioned you because you guys bought the 24 condos, and then your thought is to sell 14 of them, or I don't know how many. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but if you did that, if you had 10 of them without any debt on them, and you had all your properties, she said, if you had all your properties with no debt on them,
yeah,
then when you want to go camping for 3 weeks with your son to spend time, you would be able to do that. So I haven't read it yet, so I'll give you a better book review when I get to it. I don't know what your plan is for 53 through weeks 53 through 104. Are you planning on continuing this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We're gonna start back at 1, but we're gonna do it.
We've got other. Oh, so you're gonna keep the same 52 and just do the same ones again?
Yeah.
There are definitely another 52 books out there.
Wow.
Because somebody mentioned a book the other day, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that's not in our 52 books. That's a travesty, because it was like Never Split the Difference or something like that.
Right.
Such a crushing book. How could you not have that book? Or
like one of those real like core books that it's like, oh my god, there's more than 52.
Yeah, easily. Well, you said you read 300, so I'm sure.
And a lot of them I still utilize and say, hey, by the way, go read that book. Yeah. So they're not all the books I recommend are covered in the 52. You're right. Wow.
Cool. I remember when I was going to Fall River, like this whole thing with me and the books just kind of came out of nowhere, because I just if you can give advice that's your advice when you own like 3 or 4 properties like I did at the time, versus some of these guys like Gary Keller or any of them. So anytime anybody would say something in the group and you would say, does anybody have, like in the mastermind, does anybody have any advice? My advice was always, you should read this book. Yep. And that was just so much fun for me to be able to say, hey, I've read this book and it's awesome and it'll really change your life. Yeah.
And that's how you became known as Mike Schein, the book guy.
The book master.
The book of the week, the book master.
The book whisperer.
The book whisperer, shining the light of knowledge.
It was all new. We just did Miracle Morning, and they tell you to read 20 minutes a day, and so it's crazy.
And it culminated into the next book. Yeah. And what I'm thinking we could do is probably just do a blog post with all of the books that you and I have read, the 300 books or 350, whatever it comes out to be combined, and then categorize them. Say, if you're in this point in your life, these are probably the books to hit, different points, because the 52 weeks is designed as a way to go back, recycle, reuse, re-go through, and build your business effectively.
Right.
Those 52 books you could reread every year, and it would probably change your life. It'd be transformational. Oh my God.
There's like some of them that just read every week, and that would be it. That's what Science of Getting Rich. That's what he says. Just read this 100%. Book. Don't read other books.
100%.
So one of the categories I would love to get into in the next year would be the spiritual stuff, because we think that like most of what we do is mindset.
Yeah.
So if you can just get people into the mindset, then the teaching them the steps of buying real estate is simple. It's just, affirmations and get yourself in the right mindset. Even if your conscious mind is saying, I want to go get that, you got to know if your subconscious mind is sabotaging you on a daily basis.
And that's the piece. The seen is only created by the unseen. The unseen does far more work than the actual seen, visible world. And the spiritual side, actually, it's interesting because this Saturday we're talking about a Wealth Principle 37, which, if you remember, is the power of gratitude.
Yeah. And, Chapter 7, Science of Getting Rich.
Science of Getting Rich. Yep, Chapter 7. Give Mike a round of applause.
I just love that, because it's like a bite-sized chapter. I think it's only like 5 pages.
Yeah.
But it's such a good reminder. I feel like life, if somebody is watching this and says, my life really needs to change, if I could give you one piece of advice, get the Science of Getting Rich, either on Audible or book form. We don't judge. It's all good. It's so funny when we're in the Saturday morning, some people are like, oh, I'm only on Audible. We don't care.
You're good.
If you're digesting it, it's all good. But I would say if I gave them one piece of advice, I'd say get Science of Getting Rich and just listen to Chapter 7 every morning and every night. Just once, or read it. Don't you think that would make a huge difference?
It's a life-changing aspiration. Like if you can do that every night or once a week or even once a month, it'll change your life. Because you just gotta think about gratitude and the power of it. And without it, you would have absolutely nothing. Without gratitude, you'd have absolutely nothing. It's the energy behind everything. It's how you power faith, right? There's this. It's almost like the front end of faith. And I'll talk about it this Saturday.
Yeah, no. It's awesome. And I think that was a real mind shift for me 2 years ago, was when I started reading Science of Getting Rich and they talked about gratitude. I think I said to you, I never really thought about it. And then you forget, well, maybe not you, but I forget. And days go by without being grateful. But as soon as you get back into it, the universe starts moving towards you. It's awesome.
It's powerful because it's reality, right? You're getting in connection with the universe, you're getting in connection with real life. And so it sounds like all this, holistic stuff. It's like, oh, well, yeah, but what do you guys really do to get rich? Like, I just stay in a good positive frame and have good conversations. And that's really been what's helped me get where we are, Yeah,
it's so true. And it's so funny, it has to be true because all the different books we listen to and read all talk about that. To have that good attitude and, law of attraction and attracting yourself and just being happy, and suddenly things start happening. I think I mentioned the 21-day no complaint challenge, which was a pastor out in like Indiana who challenged his parishioners to go 21 days without it. And I only made it through one day. But
no shame in day one.
No shame in day one. I gotta get that t-shirt. But but that was like the greatest day. I swear to God, because if you're happy and positive and you're not, we are so bent towards complaining about stuff that when you don't, the world, again, the universe moves toward you and the world just opens up. And it's just, I don't give a crap. If people think that this is magic, hokey pokey, whatever, I'll challenge you this, okay? Say that Mike is like frou-frou and making up crap. Well, you try it for a week, okay? You just say, all right, for 1 week, I'm just not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about anything. And you see if your life doesn't change in an instant.
Yeah.
In an instant.
Yeah, you deal with that. You deal with that.
And then come back to me and say, you don't know what you're talking about, like Schein.
Yeah, and we're fine with it. We don't care.
Yeah.
So you were asking.
I want to complain about the government.
Yeah, listening to Warren Buffett yesterday, he talking about politics. They asked him, well, what do you think about the he's like, honestly, I don't, I'm not going to talk about it. It doesn't help because if I say something, people think it comes from Berkshire and I don't want to put anything like that out there.
Yeah, that's good.
Honestly, I don't worry about the politics. I don't worry about the economy. Yeah. I just look at the company and say, is this company fundamentally strong? Are they moving in the right direction? And invest that way. Because you can't gauge the economy. You can't gauge what's coming or not coming or politics. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know with social media how that's going to affect. And he went into it. He went into all these different aspects that you can't control. And, because people are like, the title of this podcast is What's Coming Next, right?
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for it? The barbell theory, right? So this is something you and I have been talking about, and I
Yeah.
love that right before
Or Ron talking about me saying, "Oh, this is boring."
and just before we logged into this, you're like, by the way, I'm not sure I agree with you, which is how I want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Next time we start with that, we lead.
Controversy. We need
Controversy.
like music in the background, like CNN. Controversy. Dun, dun,
Da,
dun.
da, da. So, what is your understanding of the barbell theory so far? Like, how do you look at it, or do you want me to
Oh
just?
no, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to explain. You're not leaving that on me. I
All
told
right.
you, I read one sentence of Ron's 4-paragraph text, and I'm like, you really shouldn't text 4 paragraphs.
Especially without spaces for paragraphs.
Yeah, right.
Give me a little bit at a time.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
like,
a run-on sentence, Ron.
so I guarantee you, Ron didn't read that. That's actually something I sent to him.
Oh, I thought that was him. Really?
So it was. I sent it to him, then he sent it to me. He sent it back to all of us
That's funny.
to sound smart. So
Is that why you said you're so smart?
yeah. So basically, what happened was I was listening to this book, Aftermath, and by Jim Ripkers, and what he said was that whole paragraph. I just put it on text to speech, and I sent it to him. And in that paragraph, he talks about barbell theory, what it is, and essentially, it's hard assets on one side of the bar, on the other side of the bar, equities, and in the middle, the bar is cash. And so what it does is in a time where, and this was the conversation he was having in the book, and Warren Buffett was mentioning it too, is we don't know if we're in a deflationary or an inflationary period.
Right.
And we don't know, and certain assets are acting as if it's deflationary, certain assets are acting as if it's inflationary. So the asset classes are responding differently to the market right now. And so what do you do when you don't know if it's going up or down, right? This volatility is insane. The VIX is off the charts, right? The VIX is on the rise.
Yeah.
And so it's the volatility index if it's new to you. But the barbell theory gives you this place where if you feel your asset class is in trouble, you have a little bit of the other side of the asset classes. And the reason I'm pitching and promoting the barbell theory so much is because I'm at a point in life where I'd like a little more diversity. I'd like a little more stability and a little bit more options. With real estate, I'm hard into a hard asset class, which I do think is going to continue to rise. I do think that my asset class is a good class to be so heavy in, except if I'm wrong, I could be in a really bad position as far as opportunity goes, right? As far as liquidity goes.
Sure.
And so if real estate drops and I'm not sitting on cash, I'm missing out on opportunity.
I get you.
And if real estate goes up and I'm not sitting on cash, I've made more potential cash, but I still haven't pulled out and locked in. And up until a year ago, Warren Buffett was holding more cash than he'd ever held in his entire portfolio. After 10 years of a bull market, this is what he said: bull market's going up, I'm putting cash aside. Right? Things are looking amazing, cash, right?
Yeah.
The better they look, the more I'm pulling a percentage to cash. And I think that we just went through a nice bump. The charts tell us this was certainly a technical recession, more than a technical drop, a technical recession. So we've gone through it. We've got probably a few years for a good, decent bull run. Obviously, volatility due to politics, but we've probably got a few years of opportunity, at least in the equities market. Real estate may have a bubble coming. I think there's a lot of bubbles. We've seen crypto pop a couple of times, throughout the year. We've seen it go up and down, and we've seen real estate freeze just a little bit. Last year in February, we saw it freeze just a little bit. We saw it freeze just a little bit this February, and there was a slowdown, but it didn't stop. It just, the prices kept running, and we just kind of got a pause. It was like they shut the market down for a month. And so what's coming, I want cash for. I really do. I think that as unattractive as cash can be for us as far as return on investment, I want it. I want to hold it because of what happened for us in March when COVID really struck and the stock market tanked and everybody was in a fearful position, the cash I had, I utilized to basically get a 30% return, right? I got over everything in my portfolio, a 30% return, which was good for a month, right?
Yeah,
And
that's amazing. What are you talking about?
returned back to a
Yeah.
cash position.
Well, so two things. First of all, I was listening to Kathy Wood from ARK Investors. She has her own podcast.
Yeah.
She was doing a live one yesterday. And her hedge, which I love, and God, one of the frustrations I have is I don't understand this as much as I should, is Bitcoin. And she
Yeah.
said that to have that is such a wonderful hedge, because like when all the markets were crashing and all the governments and throwing money, to have Bitcoin was this. And so to hear that from her and to hear it from Mitch Jaworski, I kind of get it, because before that, all I heard about Bitcoin was that it was like a crazy Vegas gambling place. But she said that everybody should. So that was one part of the hedge. But then the other thing was that in Set for Life, Scott Trench makes a distinction between volatility and risk.
Yep.
And my thought, well, I'm arguing the other side, but at the same time, I have, it's probably half and half, real estate and stocks. So I'm like right in there, and I do have cash available. So I guess I am doing that without
running
knowing.
the barbell, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm just my barbell.
Yeah.
Like real
You
estate.
You ever do that at the gym? When you take off the weight.
That's how it'd look.
Yeah.
And the plates would just fall off, and you're sitting with the bar on top of you. Yeah.
So I just because I asked my dad, and he said the same thing, that you should have some real estate and some stocks, and so I guess I do. But my point is that I'm not going to worry about volatility. I'm convinced, if you look at the stock market over the last 120 years, as long as you're in it for the long haul, it's going to go up and down. And if you can't stomach that, well, I don't know, go get a passbook savings account. But
100%.
that's not who I am. So I've watched Tesla drop 100 points, and I'm okay with that. I mean, if you really want to be safe, you know that the simple path to wealth says just get some index funds. The VOO is a great one from Vanguard. The VTI is also another one, Vanguard, because they have such low. Or if you want, Kathy Wood, ARK Invests, she has like 5 ETFs that are disruptors that have been crushing the competition, including Mr. Buffett in the last 5 years.
And
so,
what I like about VTI is it's got a 40 or 42% PE ratio, so it's done phenomenal.
Right.
VT has,
and when a company goes bankrupt or goes out, it's a weighted average, so you get more in the stuff that's more valuable. So if you've got 2,000 companies, or I think it's 3,700 companies in the American stock market. Yeah, 3,700. So what if you're just getting better? So like when I tell someone who's not like obsessed with the market like you and I are, we're like looking at it every day, or we're into it and we're learning things and stuff like that. If you're not going to do that, just get a index fund. I used to always say VOO to my daughters, VTI to them, because right now they're out in a national park out west. They don't need to be thinking about stocks.
They're not doing this game. They're not.
Yeah. But I've recently, I think Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, those are ETFs.
Yep.
All disruptor, which is kind of fun because we know that disruption is coming in all sorts of ways, but that's what I would.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, if you don't own real estate right now, if you have to get that other side of the barbell and get the hard asset. I think that if you're willing to weather the storm and you've got a 30-year time horizon, then you just put the money in there and leave it.
You know what I want, Mike?
Dollar cost averaging.
I want a whiteboard so I can do a design, but I'm going to do it here. Let me see. So I'm going to
like meet Kevin.
I'm going to hold this up and hopefully the light will reflect properly.
Yeah, I can see it now.
All right.
It says exercise.
Exercise, submit, book in chat, and hard stop at 20 minutes. This is for our mentorship call, reminders for what I should be doing.
Oh, nice job. So you only do 20 minutes with the mentors?
Yeah. So that's well, the breakout sessions.
Oh, gotcha.
Qualifying the
Yeah,
breakout.
because I thought you'd do at least a half hour with your call.
Oh, and I do the one-on-one?
Yeah, hour.
I say 20 to 30 minutes so that everybody respects my time.
Yeah.
It could be more. It depends.
Yeah. I feel like, you do such a service for the people, but really, if you take an hour with some new person who's just put their money in, I mean, God, they must sit there and say, wow, I just got my value out of this thing. So if Mike Schein tells me about a contract, it's just bonus. It's icing.
If Mike shows me how to raise capital, then we're in the game. I've won. I've beaten the system. I've overdone it.
All right, do this, but I want to talk about Melissa's deal and how to get her money.
Okay, we'll do that off.
You think? I feel like it's something that everybody needs to know.
All right, we'll do it on. All right, so this is how you should start investing. The bar. This is cash, right? Get yourself into a nice cash position. Doesn't have to be much, but if it was 10, 20, 25,000 would be ideal, right? So you get into the cash position. And then on this side, you start investing in real estate. RE. First asset you should go after once you've got the bar going. You don't just go pick up the real estate weight and lift real estate, right? You go and you get the bar, then you put real estate on, and then you come after equities. And this is stocks, right?
Yeah.
And what I've done is I started with a bar and I went over and I put on some cash, put some cash and I went over into real estate and I threw the bar away and I just started lifting real estate bars like this. Just, all right, I got real estate.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I know you invest in stocks, but you do have a partner, Ron. So I was thinking about this yesterday with you. You're talking about you and Ron taking some of your stuff and go as a company buying stocks and stuff like that, right?
Correct.
So that he shares in the whole thing.
Right.
That's awesome.
It's a protection against my fidgety fingers, my tendency to let my wealth go with my emotions.
Yeah, we are so similar.
When Ron's involved in a transaction, I think about it a little longer. I'm like, well, how can I convince him, right? What do I have to say to get him on my page? Then as we're going through it, I've done more research. My concepts make more sense.
Yeah. Don't wait to buy stocks. Buy stocks and wait. And the problem is you and I have itchy fingers, so we buy the stocks and then we're like, I'm bored.
Right.
It's like I'm bored. This is too easy. Or this is too let me get back on that Robin Hood or Schwab or whatever.
I'm dangerous, man. I've been walking around the house like a lion. I've been telling Dorina all week for the past 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm bored. I'm fucking bored. Like success is right? Like, this is the worst part of being successful.
Dorina's probably like, I got 10 jobs that you delegated to me. I'd like to give them back to you if you're that bored.
100%. Right, 100%. Well, do you want to show houses? No, I could. I was like, babe, if you don't want to do it, I'll send somebody else. No problem. Right? Like I've got other people who could do these things. She likes doing it.
That's an awesome system. Nice
right? Yeah. Like if it's not her, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
But for her, she's like, I'd rather just collect the money. No problem.
Right.
We're at a point where I've been lifting, my traps are freaking huge because I've been doing this one type of exercise with that real estate barbell, but we're so disproportionate at this point in our career that we have no protection from real estate.
You're like that dude with the big upper body and the skinny little legs, never does legs.
Just like this. Yeah.
I remember seeing a meme. I saw a meme on Facebook with a guy is crushing an upper body and then he's got these little teeny bean pole legs. It's like
it's time to get squats, and the only way to do that is with a bar and weight on the other side.
Yeah,
so,
nice job.
So
what are you thinking about buying for you and Ron? Like ETFs or individual stocks or?
So it's a mixed portfolio. I can't just buy VO, right? I can't just jump in and buy VO or VTI. I've got to, because I do pay attention. I do know on some level what we're talking about.
By the way, we're not compensated by Vanguard. It's just that Vanguard has a very low,
low expenses.
Low expense, really low because it's a cooperative company. And so the investors own the company. So I think it's 0.25% per year. And that's craziness.
It's extremely low as far as expenses go.
Yeah.
And so that was, they have another, Vanguard has another one called VT, which is their international stock. So it's got like 7,000 different companies in it. And their expenses are a little higher on that.
Yeah.
But you get more exposure to the international market.
Yeah.
So I invested VT. So that's the one I run into because it diversifies me from
write it down and check it out. See, if you're watching us, notice what I just did. Walter said something, and I didn't just go and buy it. I said I'm going to do my own research on it. Please do your own research.
I love it. You should be doing your own research, and
it's fun.
If you do an index fund, boom, you did just do the index funds, do your research on that, grab one of those.
If you're going to do that, just read Simple Path to Wealth.
Yeah.
Get that book on Audible. It's a great book, and just do that. And that's what he says. Just get index funds and wait 40 years.
And that would be strategy one. I think Set for Life gives you a better time horizon strategy, but
it does.
Simple Path to Wealth, if you don't ever plan on really getting smart with stocks or smart with real estate, then if you want to retire in 40 years and be okay, that book is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And
how amazing is the Set for Life book?
That's more in line with us.
Every time I listen to it, I'm just like, man, this is so cut and dry. It's perfect.
And it's the right information. He talks about doing, VT or VTI or VO. He talks about index funds and says you should do it. But the book Aftermath that I just finished reading, he talks about the bubble on index funds.
Really?
He's saying there's a bubble because everybody's saying just grab the index fund.
Yeah, right.
And so when everybody does something, we create a bubble.
Run.
So my strategy with Ron is some index funds, we'll do VT likely. And then the other piece is what I've always run. He and I have always run our personal accounts, which is the MLPs and the mortgage-backed REITs and some real estate investment trusts that we understand. We know how they're.
I think if I was going to improve my portfolio, it would be from the standpoint that I don't have any dividend stocks. So I know that you're big into them, but I don't have any stocks besides Apple, and we talked about that. It's less than 1%.
Yeah.
But
JP Morgan, if you're not into big dividends, but you want some appreciation, go after Chase.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett just dropped a ton of money into Chase.
Yeah, right. I think my dad was saying McDonnell Douglas. That's a company that's good dividend. But I mean, there's all your REITs too. Some of those are maybe not the mortgage-backed ones, but some of the other REITs are.
The mortgage-backed are high enough income where the risk is worth it to me, right? Yeah. So we're talking 16%, 19% dividend yields. So
I bought one, and then the day after, everything crashed because of COVID, and they're like, we're having our dividend, and then the stock went.
Yeah. Everything you would think it would go up.
Yeah. So, live and learn.
The REITs are still low, right? All the REITs are still low. They're still at the bottom. So everything else recovered except for the REITs. And so for me, this is the time to buy, right? If I'm buying something, I'm buying real estate investment trust because I see a 40% gain on every single one of them.
Right.
And there's a few that I would warn against because I don't think they're coming back, like ERP. And I own a considerable amount of ERP, about 10% of my portfolio, but when I talk about portfolio, I'm talking about my equities portfolio, not my real estate portfolio.
Right.
But
this is not investment advice.
No, not investment advice, but the company is the company that owns the land for AMC and Cinematics, those big
movie
theater companies.
Yep.
They own all of the land and the buildings that those companies use. AMC just wasn't AMC. AMC's still in business, but Cinematic just said we're out. We're shutting down. We're closing up shop. So now that's a big tenant to not have.
Right.
So all the theater stocks got crushed today. Every single one of them.
Crazy. That's crazy.
So,
So
they've got schools, they've got golf courses, ski resorts. But again,
I think this year, I was saying dividends, but I think I am going to do the Chicken Genius Singapore strategy at the end of the year, take 4 or 5% off the table, and just say that that's my dividend, and
Yep.
pay the taxes on it, and then have some cash flow. Because I noticed with Brenda, I've been doing stocks since I was 20, and she's like, well, stocks, the problem with stocks is every time you buy, then you can't sell. Like I'll buy some shares of like Tesla, and then it's like if I sell it, I'm gonna pay taxes on the gains.
Yeah.
So, but if you had a discipline of selling 5% at the end of the year, or maybe maybe you time it better, I don't know, but
Right.
that would be a way of taking a high flying stock and turning it into a dividend stock.
Absolutely.
And if you took let's say you have 100% is your portfolio.
Yep.
And then you sell 5%, so you're down to 95%. Well, I am assuming that 95% on average is going to make more than 5%. So you're back up to that 100%. Maybe not every year, but
you're in disruptive stocks, so it should make more than the market. But let's assume the market does 11%. You're still okay. You're going to get it back and then some.
Right. And then you get like a crazy year like this with Tesla, where you just kind of blew the whole model out of the water.
Yeah. That's 100% return in.
It was like 500% return. If you bought it in January.
If you were all in on Tesla.
Yeah.
Done.
What was it? Let me look. Hang on a second. I just want to see what their year-to-date gain on Tesla.
Yeah, it's 500%.
Hang on.
Well, right now it's closer to 4.
All right, let's see. Year-to-date. 1 year, 778. Oh, no. Year-to-date, 399.01%.
Amazing.
And if you owned it for 1 year, it would have been 778.13%. That's just, so what do you do with your model then? If you're looking at year over year for 10 years?
Well, that again is, and do not go buy Tesla. It's not going up 700% next year, by the way, just so everybody listening understands.
Maybe.
It cannot do this again. Well,
maybe.
It's possible, but I think it would take a little bit of time to reenact that.
Even their estimates of when they're putting out stuff is like 2 to 3 years for that $25,000 car, the battery production, 2 to 3 years. But I'm excited because I was doing a 10-year time window, and it seems like even in 5 years, it's going to be crushing it. So it's less than I thought it was.
Yeah. And you've done well with it. And I think that's a part that most people, they're looking for that opportunity, and they can never find it because they're bouncing between companies. They're not taking one and running with it. Right. And it's something that wealth principle, I think it's 2, is pick a company that can make $1 million and stay with it.
Yeah, you're right. Nice job.
Yeah, well, I made sure the first 5 were really, really key. You printed it out. Nice.
Yeah, because I had this other one that was like from my phone, so the font was like 0.2 font or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was that principle. It goes into stocks as well. If you know this company is going to run, you just drop all your money into that one stock and just run it until you find another company and you shift all your assets over to that. And that's essentially what I did with EXP, what I did with Tesla, and that's why I was able to make so much over a short period of time. Was because I believed in it. I saw the hype, and I said, this is going. And I assumed it was going to 25. It happened to go to 40.
Yeah. They
it's at 52.
I say, if this is not stock advice, but it's something that I'm really enthusiastic about over the next 5 years, is Square.
Square, another great
That's
company.
A disruptor of the banking industry, and it's the guy who started Twitter, and it has a lot of the he really follows Elon Musk, and I just love that company. And I bought it at $129 a share, and I thought it was expensive at that point. I was like, I missed the boat because it was like at $95 a share. And then I bought it at $129, and then it dropped back, and now it's at like $179 or $180. And it's just it's such a cool company. And it's another one that ARK invests. They love that one. If you can take the bank
% in the last 5 years.
Yeah, so let's see, where's Square today?
So
it's up 4 points. It's up to 180 today. So
anyway, I want to bring it back because
I just want to finish. Let me just finish this thought.
What do you got?
It's just another one that ARK invests
All right.
Kathy Wood recommends because it's another disruptive company.
ARK. Yeah, ARK, if you're looking into it. And that's, for me, I was torn between, do I throw all my money in ARK, right? Or do I throw it into VT, right?
Yeah.
And because ARK felt like more fun to me, I said,
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun. And it's supposed to be boring. I have no discipline.
and that's where I was like, I've got to stop being this child.
Yeah, right?
Go with what I know makes sense. I'm spending way too much time on this, right? I've spent way too much
Right?
time on this.
Brenda told me I should get rid of it. I was like, but I'm having fun. So,
Yeah. I belong helping other people build wealth right now. And that's something I enjoy. It's something I'm passionate about. And when
you're doing a great job, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
when I look at it, does it make sense for me to be more involved in my real estate deals, more involved in my stocks, or does it make more sense for me to be building this training company? And that's really what it came down to. And that's why we're simplifying the real estate portfolio and simplifying the stock portfolio at the same time, holding a stronger cash position. We're moving a lot of cash right now. We're moving a lot of real estate, and it is a complex machine, and Ron is handling all of it very well.
Yeah, with Dorina.
And with Dorina.
I'm getting the P&S agreements. That's so awesome.
And my dad just put on 6 multifamilies. So we're a team doing it all. And I'm kind of sitting in the middle like, man, I want to write the book. I want to write the book. I want to write the book. I want to get the podcast going. And I'm starting the podcast again to keep me entertained.
Awesome. And you'll be fine when you get down in Tampa and you become one of those old people where there's nothing to do. You'll
yeah.
write your book.
I can't wait. I want to write so much. I want to write the books. I want to write the blogs and crank it all out. But in the meantime, in this next couple of months, we're shifting around millions of dollars of real estate. And it's, Mike, do you remember the moment you sold some part of EXP, right, to clean up your leverage position?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's so frustratingly painful because I'm like, I love having this. This feels so good. And selling some of it to go into a different thing that I love too but it's still like, but how do I keep both? How do
But I have to say, when I deleveraged and minimized my margin, it felt really good because I know that if you're down in Tampa with a big cash position and you see a 100-unit apartment,
100%.
you know that you and Ron can snap that up without a syndication, without a partnership, and get it. So I envy you. I think that's great. And but I'm fine with it because you put in the years. Like I've only been doing the real estate for like 2 years. You've been doing it since what, 2010?
2000. I bought my first multi in 2012. I put under agreement in 12.
So almost 10 years. So I think it's great. And I look at it for all our people, me and all the people that we're teaching. And I like to say that I add a little bit to the teaching. I know you're the.
You absolutely do, Mike.
But anyways, I do think that that's such a nice thing that people can see where you guys are going, and we can all mirror that and get there.
Yeah.
And I totally see, like right now, I'm getting more of the smaller properties, but it's with an intention to package it up, sell it, and go get something bigger without like a syndication where you own like 0.01% of,
I could see doing one of those more as fun, more for our community to help our community out. Like that's what the REIT is. The 100 millionaires, that REIT is designed for people who want a little bit of something we've all built together, but that's not where all my wealth will go. Right? I'm not going to shift all my wealth into that. Maybe one day when I do go to like fully retire, maybe I'll shift whatever we've built into it.
Let somebody else do all the work.
100%.
Oh wait, it's already happened. You already got
Here's what I'll say. I like being able to pull the trigger on whatever I want. And having, other board members will slow down that process. And so that's something I'll do for fun and as like a responsibility to the community. But I like to keep my own personal, with Ron, he handles everything, but I get to still say, okay, we're doing this one.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's nice to have that autonomy. Yeah, definitely. All right. So where are we?
Real estate, equities.
Where's Bitcoin in this
cash
thing?
In the middle. I look at Bitcoin as equities. it's very similar to, I look at gold as a real estate asset, but I don't look at, I looked at gold as a hard asset, doesn't provide a dividend. Crypto is more volatile. I would say it runs with currency, right? If you want to hold crypto, it's almost like holding cash
Yeah.
with its limitations and volatility, right? It's just
Right.
a far more volatile form of currency. But because you could transfer your Bitcoins into, and people are doing transactions with them, but you can't do transactions with real estate, and you can't do transactions with stock. Right? But you can transact with crypto, and you can't transact with the dollar.
Gotcha.
So it's somewhere in there, but it's a very volatile version of the dollar.
Well, this is encouraging. I thought I was going to argue with you about barbell, but apparently I already have the barbell.
Apparently you are the barbell. I'm just trying to get to where you're at. I want that stability.
Flex.
And here's what people have if they don't have the barbell, right? You're swimming in a pool and you don't have options, right? That's it. The barbell allows you to know where the bottom of the pool is. So you can jump out. Like you can move differently. You can move faster in the pool if you know where the bottom is, right? But if you're just out there swimming, you've got to keep swimming forever, because if you don't, the bottom's down there somewhere and you're too far away. And getting over into the shallow part of the pool gives you options. You can jump out if you feel like it. You can swim if you feel like it. You have the ability to move much faster, much safer.
I love it. So, you're going to get down there to Tampa, and maybe that's when the market turns and there are 100 units just ready to, right?
Mike, all I'm saying is I'm building an asset of friends and knowledge and locations and a network. So whenever Tampa crashes, I'll be in it. And if it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, I'll maintain those relationships. But I do believe that Tampa right now is a place to be investing. From all the fundamentals, everything that I look at, I don't want to go to Boston because it's cold. But if I'm going to go to a Boston, I'm going to Tampa, right? If I'm going to a pre-Boston, I'm going to Tampa. Like I wouldn't go to Dorchester right now because it's cold. But Tampa is my version of Dorchester. It's an up-and-coming area that is about to become a Miami. And so, when I look at it, that's really where I'd rather be.
Nice. Hey, by the way, I just was looking, I found another book on the same Tesla, Westinghouse, and Edison called The Electric War.
Yeah, so, I just downloaded that.
That one, The Electric War?
The Electric War. Yeah, what one were you telling me?
Because the other one is called Empires of Light.
Oh,
so there's two different books on this.
All right, hold on.
So I don't know. I think
I got Empires of Light. Okay.
I think The Electric War is the one my father read, but I'm sure they're both good.
Empires of Light. It says Edison, Tesla, Westinghouse, and the race to electrify the world.
Yeah, see? There you go. They're both the same idea. So
16 hours. Shit.
Ever do that on the plane? Are you driving to Florida? Are you?
Yeah, I just convinced Arena for a one-time shot, a one straight shot all the way down. So I told her I'll drive.
Let me listen to a book like this.
So I think that she wants to now stop in Savannah, Georgia, and sightsee and shit. So
Brenda and I always wanted to go to Savannah. It's supposed to be beautiful.
There you go, Mike. I do not have the enjoy views and stuff in me. Like she'll do it, and I'll be like, "Where are we eating?" Like, give me a cigar and a whiskey, and I'm okay.
We want to look at that.
So yeah,
life is happening while you're making plans.
Yeah, I'll be doing this.
John Lennon.
I'll be taking pictures in front of it, but I've never been able to enjoy just looking at stuff. It's not, I think it's an I trait, it's an S trait, it's probably not a C trait for sure. I don't think C's trait.
It's not a D trait, that's for sure.
Certainly not a D trait. And, like I will enjoy the time I'm with her. I'll enjoy the things we do. I'll enjoy if I do something while I'm there, like I don't know, Niagara Falls. If I jumped off the falls, I'd be like, went to Niagara Falls. But to go see the falls,
hopefully you have a parachute.
I've never been excited to go see the falls, right? It's like, what am I going to look at? But if it's jumping off the falls, I'm like, let's do this.
Have you seen them yet?
No, it's still not on my.
Yeah, there are certain things because my daughters, like I said, are at the national parks.
Yeah.
When I went to Grand Canyon, this is the first place I'd ever been where you might as well just throw your camera away because what you see
doesn't come out.
Be caught in a. I mean, maybe if you're like Ansel Adams or somebody like that, but not with my little dinky phone camera. It's like, forget it. I'd
That's why
rather
I
just
upgraded.
trade stocks with it.
I'll be ready to take pictures of this S20, the Samsung
Awesome.
S20.
I saw one of those folding phones yesterday.
Oh, nice.
It was so cool looking. The guy next to me had it. Yeah.
Like, by the way, have you watched Mars? You've got to watch
I
it.
haven't.
We
I got
literally live in the future. We live in the future. Tesla is on the rise.
so awesome.
Like I went into a YouTube channel and a TikTok channel of what is it? Metal printing machines, 3D printing machines.
Yeah.
They exist and are cheap. Like I could go buy one tomorrow for like $4,000 and print out whatever I desire.
That's so
And
crazy.
we're not talking small. We're talking like the high end, good quality,
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 grand,
Oh,
right?
so yesterday I was looking. I saw a thing on YouTube. It says Tesla eliminates press machine or something like that, and I'm like, why would they be eliminating the press machine? They just bought these 2 ones to make the full car in one press.
Yep.
And then I found out it was their PR division. It had nothing to do with press. They got rid of their PR division.
Nice.
And so I was like, because yeah, those things are cool. They've got 2 huge presses from Italy that print the whole car in one mold. It used to be the back end that they were criticized because it was over 70 pieces just for the little bumper.
Yeah.
With all those welding things. Now they're doing it in Germany, and I believe also in Shanghai with one machine, one piece.
Phenomenal.
That's crazy. Yeah.
The time efficiency and the quality efficiency of having it be one piece.
Oh my God. It's awesome. Yeah.
It's
Anyways,
like those envelopes.
I think we're done for the day.
All right. So, Mike, I think we've learned a lot. I think
This was a really good one.
This was good for us. I don't know if somebody else can follow it.
Nobody was watching.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Definitely send it along because you sharing makes you seem smarter if you knew what we were talking about in this episode. And for anybody who doesn't know anything of what we said, you probably didn't last very long. So if you got this far, like, share, subscribe. We like you. And we want you to promote the fact that you're smart because you are.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Little social currency. Let them know.
Yeah.
Let them know how smart you are.
Yeah.
Post and share. And people are like, shit, that guy's researching stuff.
It's really smart.
That chick knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Mike, how do you end it out for us?
I say
Bring us out of
massive
here.
income from passive income.
Massive income from passive income. The point is not to work. It's to generate income.
Yeah.
Your success when you have a choice.
Always work with the best.
Best.
Peace.
Yeah. Peace it out.